Einstein was wrong. Well, not wrong, but he might have been looking at the puzzle upside down. We are taught that the universe is built on three unshakable pillars: the speed of light, Planck's constant, and the frequency of atomic transitions: space, mass, and time. But what if I told you that two of those are just illusions? What if the speed of light isn't a fundamental limit, but just a side effect? A controversial new paper in physics suggests that the entire universe, from the atoms in your body to the galaxies spinning in the void, requires only one fundamental constant to exist. Just one. And it's not light. It's time. If this hypothesis is true, we need to rewrite every textbook ever written. But more importantly, it forces us to ask a terrifying question. If the universe is fundamentally just a giant clock, who or what wound it up? Welcome to the deconstruction.
Let's look at how we currently measure reality. It's a mess. In the International System of Units, we have 7 base units: kilograms, meters, seconds, amperes, and so on. It feels arbitrary because it is. Physicists have long tried to clean this up. Most agree we can boil everything down to 3 core dimensions: mass, length, and time. To measure these, we use 3 fundamental constants: the speed of light, c, for distance, Planck's constant, h, for mass and energy, and the transition frequency of cesium, for time. It seems solid. You need 3 distinct rulers to measure a 3D reality, right? Even string theory, the supposed theory of everything, can't agree on this. Some string theorists argue we need 2 constants, others say 0, that pure math should explain itself. But here is where my skepticism kicks in. Whenever science gets too complicated, it's usually missing a deeper, simpler truth. Occam's razor suggests that the universe hates redundancy. Why would reality need 3 separate source codes when one might do the job? And that brings us to the new claim that is shaking up the physics community. A group of researchers decided to stop asking, "What are the constants?" and started asking, "What is the smallest number of tools we need to measure the universe?" Their answer? Throw away the ruler. Throw away the scale. Keep the clock. So how do you measure length without a ruler? How do you weigh a planet without a scale? This is where it gets brilliant and slightly trippy. The researchers use a concept called the 3-clock experiment, originally proposed by physicist Bill Unruh. Imagine you want to measure the length of a rod. You don't need to know the speed of light. You don't need a tape measure. You just need 3 clocks. Here's the setup. Observer A sits at one end. Observer B sits at the other. Observer A sends a clock sliding down to B. B reads it, synchronizes it with his own clock, and sends it back. A reads the time again. Now, I won't bore you with the math, but the result is profound. By comparing the time readings alone, you can calculate the precise length of the rod. Distance is just a derivative of time. You can literally say, this table is 5 nanoseconds long. You can be late by a meter. Space and time aren't just related. In this model, space is time. But what about mass? Surely a heavy rock is different from a second of time. Not really. Using a device called a Kibble Balance, we can measure mass through quantum mechanics. And since quantum wavelengths are distances, and we just proved distances are time, mass becomes time too. Everything collapses into a single dimension. The universe is not a 3D painting. It's a music sheet. It's a sequence of events. Now, let's step back from the physics paper and look at the implications. The original authors of this paper, and some critics, give this theory a low score on the viability meter. They argue that quantum gravity creates noise that makes precise clocks impossible at microscopic scales. Fair point. But I think they are missing the forest for the trees. I'm going to give this idea a 9 out of 10, not for its math, but for its philosophy.
Think about it. If the universe requires only one constant, a frequency, a tick, a beat, what does that sound like to you? To me, that sounds exactly like a CPU. In computer science, everything in a simulation is governed by a clock cycle. The processor speed, 3 gigahertz, 4 gigahertz. Nothing happens in a computer without the clock ticking. Distance in a video game is just time multiplied by processing speed. Mass is just code density. If these physicists are right, that time is the only fundamental ingredient, then we have just found the strongest evidence yet that we are living in a simulation. The universal constant isn't a law of nature, it's the refresh rate of our reality. This is why I love this theory. It deconstructs the physical world and reveals it might just be temporal data. We aren't matter. We are just moments. So, is the case closed? Not yet. The one constant theory faces huge hurdles with quantum gravity. At the smallest scales, time itself might get fuzzy and stop ticking altogether. But the door has been opened. We are moving away from a universe of stuff, particles, rocks, planets, toward a universe of processes. Maybe the next time someone tells you they don't have time, you should correct them. Tell them, time is all you have. It's all anyone has. Literally. What do you think? Is time the fundamental code of the Matrix, or is this just mathematical gymnastics? If you want to explore deeper into the glitches of our reality, make sure you subscribe to Deconstruct the Future. We are just getting started. Leave your theory in the comments. I'll be reading the best ones. Thanks for watching.